Such an important day, of course, and we're going to continue that conversation right now, and maybe for a different note and for a different reason. Now, this is something that you definitely want to pay attention to. Now, the Human Rights Day is bringing something called a stranger kind, which is providing an opportunity to sit and engage with a stranger and to listen to their unique lived experience, some of whom will be a brain tumor survivor, hearing impaired radio presenter, someone living with depression, an ex-gangster, a cancer survivor, HIV, plus anyone or someone that's even living with, well, maybe someone even living with Asperger's, right? So there's so many people that we're going to get to chat to this morning, and this event is all about bringing diverse people together for conversations to foster diversity as well as inclusion. Yeah, sounds incredible. Now, with us this morning to chat about this incredible initiative is ASK founder. It's Mina van Wyk, and I want to say good morning to you. This is an incredible opportunity, an incredible conversation. But firstly, Mari, good morning. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Thank you for having me.
This is a crazy initiative, a crazy idea. Where did the idea even stem from to think, let's sit down and have a conversation with strangers with crazy, impactful lives?
So I always joke and say I'm the person that ruins the family dinner.
Okay.
I'm the one that loves having conversations about things that we sometimes in society consider as off the topic. And so I realized there's very seldom a safe space to have these conversations. So 4 years ago, I started looking around at different methodologies and creating these little spaces for people to be able to know that it's okay to have these conversations, that it's safe. But I think very importantly is also to get the right people to have these conversations. Someone that has lived experience. You know, I can be very passionate about poverty, but if I haven't had lived experience about it, I should probably not be having that conversation.
Yeah.
And so we try to see how do we get those spaces where we find people with lived experience that can tell their stories and other people to sit down and hear it. And so that's pretty much what we've been doing for the past few years.
I'm trying to figure out who this actually benefits, because on the one side you have someone telling their story, having that opportunity to be passionate about it, and then you have the listener on the other end paying attention, but also being impacted by something that I would imagine is potentially life-changing and life-shifting, right? I mean, the conversation and the thinking behind this conversation, where was that direction for you? I mean, what were you really thinking about when you thought this through?
I think that is the beauty of the simplicity. We are, as humans, drawn to conversations and storytelling. I think as a nation, we are passionate about stories. And to see how those conversational spaces can be turned into a place exactly where both people can benefit when both people sign up for the conversation. And so definitely our volunteers have seen how not only can something that maybe was negative or something that is very day-to-day for them make a difference to someone else, but someone else from the general public that can sign up to a conversation and know, you know, it's just one-on-one. So if I ask that very awkward kind of question, or maybe a sensitive question, or the ignorant question, there's not going to be an audience judging me. So I get the opportunity to maybe ask questions I wouldn't have otherwise had. But also at the same time, I get to meet these incredible people that very seldom in my day-to-day life I would have had an opportunity to meet up with.
Yeah, and I imagine there's so many things that you could find out and learn from these conversations. Maybe tying back into Human Rights Day as an example, I mean, with what the nation has gone through, with what we as a country have gone through to gain this democracy, I'm sure there's some crazy stories within that kind of tie up with Human Rights Day, yeah?
Definitely, and I think almost all of our stories actually resonates with the concept of human rights. I think we would have a lot more compassion and understanding for other people if we have a meaningful conversation with someone and we get to ask the questions that's important to us. We have seen our people with 45 minutes with a complete stranger walks away not just moved to compassion or empathy or better understanding, but actually advocating for someone else that they've never met before. And organizations that change the way they want to approach accessibility in the company because of one conversation. And that is the power of these spaces that we're going, how, as a human right, can we use like an easy conversation actually to move people to advocate for it.
An easy conversation, but a pertinent one nonetheless. Now I'm thinking to myself, what a beautiful world it would be if we all had an opportunity to have these conversations with people and have an open space where we can ask the questions and, like you said, almost draw identity within ourselves from some of these past experiences. It would be a beautiful thing if everyone could do this. I mean, imagine this grew to that point when this just became the norm. How's your plan in terms of growing this and making this become something that it can be? And I mean, the potential is huge, really.
Yes, and so that's what we're hoping. We're hoping that every person sitting out there look at themselves and ask, you know, what is my normal that can be something of value to someone else, and how can I tell my story in these platforms? But we want communities to reach out to us and say, how do we start this within our community? How do we train people to host these events? We want companies to reach out to us and say, how do we help you put it out there? Spaces, you know, these events are free to the public. It's open for anyone. So it would be great to partner with more people to say, listen, we want that kind of spaces in our communities. And so our hope is that people will come forward and reach out to us and say, how do I get involved? Not necessarily as a storyteller even, but, you know, just creating more opportunities in more spaces for this to happen.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Marty van Wyk, and I just got to ask you before we actually leave,
Yes.
maybe you can plug Mzansi in. Where can they get involved? Where can they find the event? And where can they start this conversation?
Fantastic, yeah. So today, if you are in Cape Town, you can go to the waterfront. Anytime from 11 to 3, we are having these conversations. It's free, it's open to anyone. And then on the 6th of April, we'll be hosting an online event as well, so people can check out our social media or our website for that information. And then for anything else, you can reach out to us, and we'll see how we can connect you to any of our future events.
Boom! Nailed it! Absolutely love it. Thank you for the conversation, and thank you for joining us on Human Rights Day and obviously sharing this incredible project. I look so forward to it.
Thank you so much.
We'll catch up with you in just a bit. Mzansi carrying on with everything Human Rights Day.